We are throwing down this weekend on Testosterone Fantasy Sports. Week 13, the playoffs are right around the corner. So I hope you're taking notes this week because we're breaking it down, all the different matchups. It's the final segment of the show, and we're going to jump right into it. Zach Glassjaw Miller. Zach Glassjaw Miller in with me, and I'd love to thank you for being here once again, my brother. Pittsburgh at New England this weekend, two top-rated teams. New England was going to be the Super Bowl favorite until they lost Tom Brady. Well, all of a sudden now, they're living in a castle, bro. And it's going to be an interesting game because the Patriots are not the same team with this Matt Castle than they were several weeks before. So Pittsburgh all of a sudden has a big-time matchup on their hands.
Hey, and actually Matt Castle won up Tom Brady in the last 2 weeks. Something Tom Brady never did, 2 400-yard games. That's pretty impressive for a guy that hadn't played since high school.
And when Tom watched that, I'll bet he was a little bit jealous.
Yeah,
so
I know, he might have been hanging out with Giselle, so maybe not too jealous.
Yeah, no kidding. So it's going to
Rumor is they're getting married.
It's going to be a very tough matchup here for all your entertainment news about what players are doing as far as getting married. What if you want to know about what Kim Kardashian is doing with Reggie Bush, go to Zach. He's got all that.
My wife does, so I carry it on
lockdown.
Show. I don't go reading all that stuff.
So, but anyway, to get back into this matchup, New England against Pittsburgh, it's going to be a great game, a very hard-fought matchup. There's definitely playoff seeding here based on each of one of their individual records right now, and also the fact that they'll both be in the same conference in the playoffs. So it's going to be a good game, and I'm interested to see what's going to happen. Low scoring, don't you think, Zach?
Yeah, you don't expect 48 points out of the Patriots. Don't expect Matt Castle to throw for 400 yards. He's going to be seeing blitz packages that he hasn't seen all year with Dick LeBeau, throwing guys at him the whole game long for the Steelers. I don't know if Aaron Smith's come out and said anything in this game yet, like he did. But
what a dork.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hard-fought battle. I don't expect a whole lot of offense. I mean, if either team puts up over 300 yards, I'll be absolutely surprised. I think most of the yards will be through the air. I mean, neither team yields a whole lot of yards on the ground. I think Pittsburgh's number one. I mean, they give up like 65 yards a game on the ground, and it's not like New England has any star running backs that they're going to hand the ball off to. So I know they're going to try and spread it out with Matt Castle. I just don't think he's going to have the kind of time he's had in the last couple of weeks to be hitting receivers all over the field. So it's going to be quite a different game for Matt Castle. He's not going to have nearly as much time, and he's going to have to make quicker decisions. So this could really show us what Matt Castle has learned since he's taken over at the job, or the starting quarterback job in New England.
Well, it's going to definitely be a tussle. I'm going to pick the Steelers to go into Foxborough and win this game. The reason for me is just simply because of I think that the Steelers are more of a complete team.
It's not your man love for Big Ben.
And this is going to be a statement game for them. I do really like Big Ben. I think that he has a good game here. The Patriots will give it up through the air, and the Steelers are pretty good in their receiving game. So I like Hines Ward. Santonio Holmes has been turning it on of late, and I think that he makes a decent play, but don't expect a lot from him as the season is gone. Ward will be your guy. I think that Heath Miller gets into the end zone for sure in this game. And the two-headed attack of Mewelde Moore and Willie Parker won't be great, and I don't think they'll get in the end zone. Maybe they'll split a touchdown, but probably Mewelde getting it. But it's going to be a tough, low-scoring game. Both defenses make a good play.
And there's a little speculation that Willie Parker may or may not play, and they're saying that he re-injured his knee last game, so it might be a lot of Mewelde more than Gary Russell too.
Hey, and if that's the case, then you can play Mewelde. In my opinion, he's
great
very solid.
Yeah, he's great in the passing game, so he's going to get you those receiving yards as well. I mean, he's going to get you 100 combo yards, almost guaranteed. So makes a solid play, especially if you're playing a PPR league.
So I would not expect 125 and 3 strikes out of Randy Moss this weekend.
No.
The Steelers, they are number one in the rush, like you mentioned. They're also number one in the pass. So they're going to double team Randy all day. Wes Welker will probably get a little bit, but I don't expect a whole lot from him.
He'll get catches, but he won't be racking up yards.
Right. Yep. And so the Steelers are just so sound on defense that I think they're going to lock this game down. It's going to be a great approach by them, in my opinion. So one other team that knows how to lock a game down is the Baltimore Ravens, and that's just what they're going to do against the Cincinnati Bengals.
It's going to be a feast.
This one's easy, folks. Don't start any of your Bengals. As far as Baltimore goes, they've had some offensive upstart of late. Joe Flacco's been a surprise, man. How do you like that kid?
Well, he's really impressive for a rookie. I mean, much like Matt Ryan. I know he doesn't put up quite the numbers, but he's just got a lot of moxie at quarterback. He's making plays when he needs to. I mean, he doesn't, they don't throw a whole lot. They're more of a running team. But when he does throw, he seems to make plays. He had another long touchdown to Mark Clayton last game. I mean, he can run the ball, so he picks up first downs, run the ball as well. He's just a real heady player, and he makes smart decisions for a rookie, and he's been really impressive.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with him as well. He's still really inconsistent, so you can't trust him on the fantasy field, and likewise with their receivers. Todd Heap, a little bit. He's having a better year, and he stayed healthy. So if you have no other choice, you can plug him and play him if need be. And their running game, you never can tell who it's going to be. So if McGahee starts, he's a decent play here. If he doesn't, he's going to probably start and get like 8 carries maybe.
And then Leonard McClain's going to come and get 18 and have 100 and touch. So
I'll tell you,
it's one of the worst. It's like Denver Broncos and Mike Shannon.
We can't sit here and pretend to know what we're doing and tell you to go ahead and play McGahee. It just wouldn't be right. So keep him on your bench. He sucked for you all year.
Keep it safe.
And because you got him, those of you who have him, come to us in the preseason next year. You wouldn't have had him, all right? All right, we love you guys out there. On Monday night, before we get to that, Baltimore's defense, definitely you play. They're off the chain. They could have helped you win last week. They can do that again here this weekend. So definitely keep them in. Okay, now, Monday night, Jacksonville at Houston. Jacksonville played a really tough matchup last week. Who did they play against?
They got behind big time.
Yeah, I mean, they gave up 14 points in the first 2 minutes.
What a brutal game. Somebody dominated them.
Yeah, and that team's best player didn't even start.
He's purple. He's got he got a horn.
Well, anyway, this weekend they've got a much easier matchup at Houston. It's going to be an interesting game, although not very fun. Sage Rosenfeld still under center for the Texans. Steve Slayton has been fantastic regardless, so definitely activate him for this game. The Jags aren't the same team that they once were.
No.
I don't think that they're going to do very well in this game. I think Houston could upset here, and it wouldn't even look like that much of an upset.
And I'm actually gonna take Houston in this game. Jacksonville's just been playing. I mean, every week it seems like they're regressing instead of progressing. And I mean, their offensive line has been hurting since the beginning of the week or the beginning of the year. And David Garrard doesn't have nearly as much time to throw as he has in the past. And their defense is yielding up big yards, big rush yards, which isn't something you usually see with a Jack Del Rio team. And I know he has to be frustrated because of what kind of defensive minded coach he is, and then having a defense like this play the way they are this season. And this is a team that's just on the downslope, but I don't see them getting any better anytime soon. And it is in Houston. I know Houston's had an up and down year, and they definitely missed Matt Schaub. I know when Matt Schaub was in, he had a couple bad plays. The fans were rooting for Sage, but you can definitely tell Matt Schaub is definitely the better quarterback out of these two. And not only that, he hurt some of the, he really hurts Owen Daniels. I mean, Owen Daniels has had like 4 catches in the last 3 weeks combined.
Right.
And Matt Schaub was looking at him when he was in quite a bit. Andre Johnson's still getting his yards, but he's not getting in the end zone at all. And right now, the number 1 receiver on the team is some white guy named Kevin Walter, who's getting all the touchdowns. So.
And Kevin Walter makes a decent play here this weekend as they focus all their attention on Andre Johnson. You can keep him active. He's been a real bright spot for them. One player who's been a very bright spot for the Jags' dark season has been Maurice Jones-Drew. Had a great game through the air last weekend. I say play him here. He's a fantastic must-start. He's going to roll real well, and I think the two-headed attack of Fred Taylor between the tackles, Maurice Jones-Drew out of the backfield and on the edge is a great thing for Jones-Drew because it keeps him fresh the whole game, and they're able to wear down opposing defenses. Houston gives up a lot on defense, so they're going to give it up. Now, on the passing game, it's tough because Garrard has been not very good, and that's being nice.
Yeah.
Matt Jones hasn't done very much lately. They just don't have a good receiving core, so you got to avoid all them as much as possible. So I'm not real high on the Jags.
No, and like I said, it all starts up front. He's not getting a whole lot of time to throw. So they're obviously going to come out and they're going to try and get their running game going, try and build the lead on Houston, and try and play some defense. So I expect them, if anything, if they're going to be productive, it's going to be on the ground. Yeah, maybe a couple big plays here, but not a whole lot.
Yeah, right. Well, one team I'm definitely high on is the Jets. Last weekend, they got to host the undefeated Tennessee Titans. Well, the Titans aren't undefeated anymore.
And it wasn't even close.
Thanks to potential MVP Brett Favre.
Ooh, wouldn't that be nice?
It was insane. That game was fantastic. Thomas Jones, I benched him. I benched all my Jets. I thought that was going to be a low-scoring game. You could have played Thomas Jones last weekend. He was fantastic. So I think that they make a great play here again. They host Denver this weekend.
And their defense is brutal.
And they're going to keep rolling. Thomas Jones is a fantastic start.
And even Leon Washington. Leon, you could literally play Leon Washington as a number 3 running back.
You really can.
Because he has that big playability, and he actually gets quite a few attempts or touches in the game, I should say. He's going to get you anywhere between 6 and 8 carries. And any one of those carries, especially against a very, very vulnerable defense like Denver, that he could rip off a long one.
Right.
And he's a third down back, and Brett Favre likes to dump the ball off to him. So
they have a fantastic offensive line. They've got the best fullback in the NFL, in NFL history, I'll say. And I just think they're going to run to the tune of 200 yards this weekend. Start your jet running game. You're going to like it. I also like Favre. He'll spread it around again. Consistent. He's done a nice job not throwing interceptions this season. And they're pushing for this division. So they're going to hold serve here against Denver. I think Denver, who lost last weekend, loses again. They face a very, very strong secondary. Darrelle Revis and Kerry Rhodes are fantastic athletes, and I think they're going to do their part to keep Jay Cutler and the Denver passing game good but not great.
And they're not going to be able to run at all. And even if it's Paris Hills or Peyton Hillis and they got Tatum Bell getting carries, you can't run on this Jets defense. Chris Jenkins is playing out of his mind right now in the middle, and there's just nowhere to run on this defense. So they're going to have to try and pass. And the way the Denver passing game has even looked in the last couple of weeks, even against Oakland, I know Oakland has a really formidable secondary, but they couldn't get anything going. And that's all. I mean, they rely on nothing but their pass game. So it's going to be all on Cutler's shoulders to keep this game even close. But I expect the Jets to win by at least 2 touchdowns in this game.
Yeah, they're going to do very, very well. So, well, that's our show that we've got for you for Week 13. One final note, we just thank you so very much for coming on. When I think of the thankful things in my life at this time of year, Testosterone Sports is right on the top of the list behind God and my son. And my friends, you know what I'm saying? And I get to do this show with my friends. And so I'd just like to thank you for being here, man. You're one of my best friends, as well as Jesse and Yeasty and Eric and everybody we do this thing with. Alex, our awesome director, who's already putting his coat on to go outside. Anyway, thanks again for tuning in and joining us this year. We wouldn't be able to do it without all of you guys out there who watch our show regularly and join us on the Fat Chat, which you should do at Testosterone Fantasy Sports, because if you want to win,
you must tune in
to Testosterone Fantasy Sports. We'll see you later, everybody.